Hello, everyone. Welcome to There Be Toys. It has been a minute. There's just a lot going on. It just never stops. But I wanted to take an in-depth look at the Masters of the Universe Chronicles action figures by Mattel from the upcoming live-action film. This is a long time coming. Masters of the Universe has been around since 1982, was when the toys came out first, and then the cartoon was 1983. That ran for a little while, and then of course there was She-Ra, and then there was the Masters of the Universe first live-action film in 1987. Quite a bit later, the hype for He-Man had died down a bit, and of course it's like if you know, you know. Like it took place on Earth. People weren't really into it. They weren't digging it. It didn't do well. It's gotten kind of a cult following over the years, and I just watched it maybe a couple months ago, and I was like, it's not that bad. I mean, of course, it leaves much to the imagination. I wish it was all set on Eternia, but it really wasn't the worst of the worst. Obviously, Frank Langella is, I think, the most praised, and has even said he loved that role more than any role he played as Skeletor. A few years later, there was the 2000 X series, and then we, of course, got Revelation and Revolution, I believe, are the two. And then we did get the She-Ra series as well. So here we finally are, 40 years later. We're getting a true adaptation of the Masters of the Universe. At least it looks like it's going to be fairly true to the original Filmation cartoon, with maybe some other elements mixed in, maybe some 2000X, maybe some of the other cartoons. So let's take a closer look, and I wanted like side-by-side comparisons of faces, the bodies, everything, the costume of these new upcoming action figures. These photos were dropped pretty late in the evening by Entertainment Weekly. I was getting ready to go to bed, and I was like, wait a minute, what is this? There were some photos of a few figures that had popped up from a convention that was overseas. So we knew that, pictures were coming. So those were photographed there, and then we got these high-quality images much later. The first we're going to look at is He-Man. Now, I've got to say, I was really impressed, like right off the bat. To me, the movie like this is not official until we see the toys. It's kind of like Ghostbusters or something like that. Like, we've got to see the toys, because so much of this relied on the toys. That's part of the history of this cartoon, of this property, right? So it's like we had to really see these, and these look good. So, just taking a look at like the sword and everything, I can see, even from the trailer, they really tried to get the old feel of the toys, the cartoon. So I have a lot of respect for that. I'm hearing a lot of rumors that it's going to be a lot of comedy, maybe Guardians of the Galaxy like. I'm not too keen on that, but I'll have to reserve judgment. So far, what I'm seeing looks really good. We see here the comparison to He-Man from the film. I mean, they got these details done pretty well, I have to say. Maybe a little bit different color-wise. Like, you see the skin on the toy, maybe a little too much yellow. It doesn't have quite the pink or the red in it. People had been noticing that, I saw when they were talking about it. And even the browns are a little bit bolder. So I think some of it is maybe to just be a bit more toyetic, if you will, to maybe just brighten things up. There really isn't a high quality close-up of the actor, completely as He-Man yet. I'll say the face on this one looks a little off on this version. We'll get to that in a minute. It just looks not quite like the actor. But if we take a look, there were several versions of this we're seeing in pictures, so I don't know which one we are actually getting. The first image on the left, that appears to be a digital render. We'll look at the full version in a minute, but that really does seem to be a digital render. But I'll say the face looks way more like the actor. There are some other details, like on the belt and stuff, that aren't present in the others, and you can see the hair, the color is fairly different. So if we go to the next one over, that's the photo that we got released. The face, again, doesn't quite look like it if you compare the two. And then when you go to the third one in, that's the third and fourth, actually, those are the ones that the actor was holding. And you see the face looks even different still. I would say the one that the actor was holding looks more correct. So I'm hoping that's the one we'll get, but I don't know. Or just maybe the angle of that glam shot. I mean, it just looks off. That happens, but I don't know. I feel like the one he had in his hand and in the package, that's hopefully more the one that we're gonna get. Now you see the hair color is different. Like I said, I think they're brightening things up just to give them that extra, zing to make them look a little more cartoonish, toyish, that kind of thing. Here's another up close look. Now this photo in the middle was from that convention. You see the face, looks a bit better than that other glam shot that we had. And people had been noticing the actor recently has certainly slimmed down. He doesn't look as buff. But when you look at pictures of him when he was getting ready for the role, I mean, he really he packed on a lot of pounds, especially compared to how he was before. I didn't know he was that much slimmer. I mean, he's not skinny, but he's fit, but he's much slimmer. So he put on a lot of weight and muscle for the role. So going by that picture of him today, I mean, I think he just dropped a little bit of weight. So, and it's hard to see him in the trailer fully as He-Man. I mean, he's just kind of moving around, too quickly. Here is the render that I mentioned before. I mean, it looks really good. I was impressed when I saw this. But if you zoom in, it just looks like this is for sure a render. Like there's just a smoothness to everything, right? Like a little softness on the detail. Like it does seem to be like it is a render. Kind of unfortunate because we don't know exactly which version we're going to get. I'm thinking it's the one that is on display and the one that the actor was holding, and not this one, which, I mean, this likeness is actually pretty good to the actor. But it does appear like this is a render still. If it's anything even close to this, which it looks like, it kind of is, this is going to be really exciting. So here is He-Man atop Battlecat, Battlecat in his full armor, and there's a lot of articulation. I'm kind of surprised to see how well they got this to just stand and pose. Like, this is a great pose for Battlecat. You see there's ankle and elbow and even like hip articulation, the jaw. I think someone had said that the eyes might be glass or have a glassy effect to them. I'm not sure. And again, if you look, I kind of zoom in, it does really, does really show that this is probably a digital, render. But so far, I mean, looking really good. So I'm impressed with this. I'm kind of hoping he has like a more timid face. I guess it's okay if he doesn't, because he does sort of make a little face like this in the film. Like, he is angry, though he's supposed to be afraid. But maybe this is right before the transformation. People were saying. So I mean, I like it so far. It looks pretty good. If we look at the side by side, you can see there's some differences. Like, there's not the black around the eyes. There's not the white fur. There's not the white around like the muzzle. There's the nose isn't pink and stuff. So it would be cool if it was a bit truer to the film, but maybe they just wanted to have this look very close to the original toy. It's kind of like, right, it's kind of the toss-up. Like, what do you want? Do you want it to look just like the movie, or do you want it to sort of be reminiscent of the toy? I feel like for this Chronicles series, I feel like it should look just like the movie, right? Like, I feel like these should look just out of the film, and the ones that should look more like the toys would be these in, say, the origin scale, which I'm hoping, like, that's what I want. I like these. These are great, but I want to see these in Origins. So I feel like they could have done this with Origins, and anything that's from the movie would be Chronicles, and it should be as close to the deco as that you can get. Next, we have Man-at-Arms, and I really liked it. I mean, it was hard to kind of tell in the trailer, like, was all of the armor orange, like what the pieces were, but not all of it. But they did it for the toy, at least, and I mean, it looks really good. I mean, this is Man-at-Arms. It's got the helmet, it's got the orange, it's got the green. Really impressed to see this. And again, if we look at this side by side, it just looks like they brightened up the colors, right? They saturated it a little more. I don't know if it's maybe just the trailer looked a certain way and that really is how it's going to look on screen, or they'll tweak it or whatever. I don't know. But it looks like in the movie, the colors are a little bit darker. Even his chest plate, the chest armor, doesn't look like it's as orange. Maybe on the legs it does, but not nearly on the shoulders and on the chest. Even the helmet doesn't look as blue. But for the toy, again, I think they're trying to maybe really tie it back to the old school original toys. The likeness is really good. I mean, I would say it's pretty good. I feel like maybe the mustache comes down a little too much on the sides of the mouth. I don't think the mustache goes down that low. I mean, that would maybe be the only complaint. And we haven't seen him with quite this expression yet. He's a little happier in the other expression from the movie. But this looks really good. I'm super impressed to see that they've done such a good job with these. Next up is Teela, and you guys, I was ready to riot when I saw the version of Teela for this movie, and I love the filmation style, and I like the 2000X style as well. I bought that action figure when that came out and everything, and I have the Mondo Teela that sort of has that that alternate head that kind of looks like it, and I don't know. Something about the hair up is Teela to me, which is silly. Like it shouldn't matter, but it did matter to me. Like I love Teela, I love Evil-Lyn, Sorceress, all that. So I mean, when I saw Teela with her hair down, I just wasn't into it. I wasn't buying it. I felt like she kind of looked like Gamora again, sort of going on that rumor this is going to be a bit Guardians of the Galaxy, like that group shot of them kind of feels like that a little bit. So I wasn't too into this at first. And even the bodysuit, like it does kind of maybe draw inspiration from the '87 movie, because she did have like a full bodysuit with the straps and everything. So it does feel like that, but they changed the colors to make it look more like the original. But I am happy to say, since seeing this reveal, that she will have her hair up and her tiara, so she'll have that classic Teela look. And I'm way more excited about this movie now than I was before, which is ridiculous because it's just a hairstyle. It's stupid. But I just thought, oh, why wouldn't they do it? Like, why? Like, come on. They were so on point with details like that. That is what I guess I'm getting at. Like, they have a lot of details done pretty well. It's like you wouldn't just put her hair up. Like, okay, come on. But here it is. And I gotta say, close up of this render. Again, I think it's a render. I'm not sure, but there is the real one that was on display. Now look how much better the real one on display on the left looks versus what I think is the render. So it kind of isn't 100% accurate, I guess, when you look at those to what we may get. What we may get, if that's what we're getting on the left, that looks way better. Again, it may be lighting and all that kind of stuff too, but it looks really, really good. I'm really impressed with it, and I'm so happy we'll get a Teela look that's familiar to the cartoon. And there may be character growth. She may change if there's another movie, which I'm sure they're going to want a sequel. Like, she's supposed to end up being Sorceress, so I'm sure she's going to go through transformations as well. But I'm just glad that they did give a nod to the cartoon and added that hairstyle. Next, we have Tri-Klops, and I don't know why I was writing about this in my Instagram page. I don't know why, like, Tri-Klops sound like clops, and I'm like writing it down. I'm like, that's not right. And I'm like looking, and I'm like, no, it really is Klops. I don't know why that bothered me, but of course I know that that's his name. Spelling it out seems so weird. So here is Mr. Klops himself, and I mean, this looks really, really good. Now I know that there's upscaled images that were like spotted on the back of the box and stuff. Looking at those side by side, it just looked like a lot of the detail was gone. So I'm not going to put those up here because that really is not accurate at all. But this is the image provided by Entertainment Weekly. Looks really good. And I'm looking at like his arms. Like you see the muscle. It looks like it's robotic or something. So I don't know if he's like fully a robot or what the deal is there. Hopefully the visor turns around and has the different, eyepieces to them. And people were wondering, well, why would he need this rifle with the, the long stock to it and everything? Like, why would he need that if he can see everything? So I'm hoping that's explained. I'm sure because he's got, he's got this advanced sight because of this visor. Interesting deco on the pants. Tri-Klops is orange and green, so it looks like that, a little bit more military. A lot of that, like a lot of more of a military feel with the weapons and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they work that in. But now people have been noticing that with the weapons, like it has a Western or more military feel to it. Nothing of Tri-Klops from the movie as of yet. I didn't spot him in the trailer, so can't really compare him to his live action counterpart yet. And next we have Skeletor, and I'm really impressed. Of course, that was sort of like going to be like the big reveal. Like, what is Skeletor going to look like? Is it going to be like another mask? Is it going to be some mocap thing? Like, what is it? What is it going to be? And it looks like it's the CG head, and we haven't seen too much of it. Again, it's very quick glimpses of it, so hard to get a real idea of what he looks like when he's talking. What is he going to sound like? Is it going to be like the cartoon? Is it like, what is it going to be like? And it is hard to tell. The cape and the loincloth, I mean, they do look soft goods, but I'm hearing that these are not soft goods, but they really do look like it. So not sure what we're going to get there. Only get a quick glimpse of the full head to toe of Skeletor. So, but here it is side by side. Again, looking pretty close. Again, I think that like the blue, the purple is a little more washed out in the movie, and they've just brightened it up here for the toys. And with the close up, I mean, hard to see. I brightened the picture up as much as I could without, really making it look a mess. But it looks really good. I mean, it looks like Skeletor. You know who this is. So really impressed to see what this is going to look like in person. And next we have Evil-Lyn. Now, big discussion points with these that we'll get to in a minute. But I want to take a just real close look at these details because, again, they look great. Evil-Lyn, maybe my favorite character. I mean, it's like Evil-Lyn, Shadow Weaver. It's like one of those. I don't know, but I've always loved Evil-Lyn, probably the most. And I was really concerned, like, what are they going to make her look like? And this is pretty good. I'll say they got the look pretty good. And am I like 100% in love with it? Not entirely, but I mean, it is Evil-Lyn. It really looks good. Maybe drawing more inspiration from the 2000X series, I would say, that I'm noticing all of this. But all these little like bone-like, web-like, details that they've got here. I mean, all these spikes and things, really impressive. And you see there's a bit of blue in there against the black. So, drawing, again, inspiration from different cartoons and things. And she does have a cloth goods cape because that was one of the toys that was on display at that convention. So we know that they are using that. So at least for Evil-Lyn, that is a feature here. It's so weird. I'm looking at the like leggings that she has. It kind of reminds me of the Halle Berry's Catwoman, like what had the rips and things. I don't know if that's what that's supposed to be, but that's what it looked like when it was on display. And she's got her staff with the orb, with those claws. I mean, it's right out of the cartoon. I'm so glad that they, kept it true. The cartoons, the toys, really happy that they're doing that. And it shows that they're paying attention to the detail. Here is a close-up of the actress, and this is if it's a render, I don't know, but it's the version that we got from Entertainment Weekly, but it seems to be different from what was on display at that convention, which everyone says is Celine Dion, and I see it. I mean, it did look like Celine Dion, as did the She-Ra that came out from the Masterverse. People were not too happy about that. And immediately they were like, that's Celine Dion, that's not She-Ra. Who is that? So someone there at Mattel must just love Celine Dion because they are using her as the model for all the female figures. But you can see it looks different. I mean, the eyes, it's something about the face there is a different, or maybe it's just the angle. I mean, that is a possibility. Kind of odd that it's just this blank expression. Like, why wouldn't even her eyebrows be down or something? Like, why wouldn't it, it doesn't have to be like her mouth open or grimacing, but like maybe a little more evil. So it doesn't quite fit the character, but really super impressed. We don't have a full body shot of Evil-Lyn to really compare the costumes here, but I mean, this looks really good so far. Again, just super impressed. And last is Trapjaw, and this is the one everyone seemed to really be going crazy over because this looks really damn good. I mean, the detail, the nods to the original toy and cartoon, I mean, they really did an amazing job with this. I mean, that deep, purpley pink helmet and the green and the blue, I'm so glad that they didn't change any of that. Now, it looks like he will have different attachments. You see he's got the knife, but he also has the hook attachment as well. I'm sure there may be one or two others, hopefully, but it looks like they'll be able to swap those out. Not sure if there's a hinged jaw. I kind of imagine that there would be. I mean, look close up. I mean, that's pretty terrifying. That looks really insane, and I don't know if you could almost see inside the mouth there. I mean, that's going to be quite an interesting character to see, brought to life on screen. Now, we don't really see him very much. It's like a blink and you miss it. It's blurry. You can't really see him yet. They're probably saving that for when you're in the theater. But you can see him a little bit. You see the colors. I'll say the blue here on screen does look right, but I don't think the helmet is as pink as that is in the toy. So again, they're taking some, I think, liberties to make the toys be a little bit more vibrant. But I mean, everything else looks really spot on, looking really sharp. I'm really surprised how well these have come out. Here are the in-person photos at that convention, and you can see if we look, I mean, the likeness of this He-Man, I think, is a little bit better. So I'm glad to see this in person. Again, you don't get all the paint and everything. Like when you're painting a prototype, they have to paint the skin color and everything. It's hard to really get an idea of what it's supposed to look like for real when it's cast in the actual plastic. But this looks good. I mean, if this is it, if this is what we're getting, this is incredible. So again, the posability, maybe the super articulation, because you can see gaps. Where the ankle is. You can see it like the knees. Look, that super articulation is something that is kind of maybe a drawback a little bit, because they make those double hinge knees and elbows and things. So there's a little skinniness, but other than that, everything else, I mean, from waist up, it looks really good. And this may be, I mean, there may be even more than one version of him coming out, and maybe one that rides Battlecat or comes with Battlecat. I don't know. But it looks really darn good from what we can see so far. This is the group shot. You can see there's Trapjaw in the back and Skeletor, and of course He-Man and Battlecat. Missing his mask. It does look like the eyes are sort of sunk in, so maybe it does have those like glass eyes. And oh, look at this! I'm looking now, and you do see it is different. So all right, so I'm going to put up the side by side. They did add paint to the nose. See, there's black around the lips. There's a lighter coloration around the eyes. So that for sure was a render that they ended up changing. So I'm glad to see that they did that here. In the corner, peeking out, is Ram Man. We didn't see him really in the trailer. A little tiny bit, like he was off to the side along with Mechanic. So like it was like so blurry, and so in the back you couldn't really see him, but he was on display. So it'll be interesting to see what other figures. Maybe they just weren't allowed to take pictures of certain ones, but it'll be interesting to see what other figures they have. This is quite a lot. This obviously isn't everything. There's obviously going to be more that comes out along the way. There are these henchmen of Skeletor that are new to this movie, and I can't imagine that they're not going to make those. So those are probably coming. We don't see too much of them. We see them getting thrown around, but we don't really get to see close-ups of them, and know they're just henchmen of Skeletor. I mean, this is new. We've never seen these characters before, what they're called or anything like that. So that'll be something interesting to see. Beastman, haven't seen him yet. Again, I look at this picture and he's not very orange. So it'll be interesting to see like what the toy counterpart's going to look like. But I noticed that Beastman's fur and everything not so bright and vibrant. Fisto, haven't seen anything of him. We know he's in it because he was featured, as was Spikor. Really interesting to see that they could have just gone full CG with it. I'm sure maybe there's some CG on it, but it looks like there is somebody in a suit, as well as Goatman, which I was more unfamiliar with. He was in like one storybook, but he's in it as well. Sorceress, Marlena is as well. Don't know if they're going to be doing like a young Adam. I'm sure that they probably will at some point. And another character who is very noticeably missing is King Randor. He was spotted possibly in the trailer. There appears to be three, figures running toward Castle Grayskull, one being Adam, one being Marlena, and another having like red sleeves and a blue cape, which I would imagine that to be Randor. But when they cut to them running to the castle door, there is no Randor. So something obviously happens to him. I don't know. That may not be good. Maybe, hopefully, he's just captured by Skeletor, and it's not something worse than that. But definitely, we know that there's going to be a King Randor in the movie. Just didn't see him very much. Thank you very much for joining me. Let me know in the comments, are you excited to see these? Do you want to see these brought to life in Origins? That's really what I want. I mean, to me, that's my scale. That's what I've been collecting. I've been so into the cartoon collection. I finally got my Queen Marlena and King Randor. Those just came the other day, so I was really excited. And I also got 2000X Evil-Lyn as well, so I'm hoping to see more of the 2000X series start to be available. But I would like to see the movie characters in this scale the most. Just a little more cartoony. Just got that feel, It's just that to me is like the more He-Man feel. So I'll be all about these when they are available in that scale. If they are available. I hope they are. We'll probably see more at Toy Fair, at least. Hopefully. Fingers crossed that we'll see more. And anyway, thanks for joining me. And until next time, I'll see you later.